problem number 28, we can see we have an absolute value inequality. And I just wanted to remind you of how to kind of think about the situation that you've got an absolute value expression mixed in. And remember, we talked about being in jail, and you've got other kind of things or people hanging around the jail. You've got to move them to the other side. Similar to when you have a situation like this where you have an x and you want to get the x by itself, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to subtract 2 from both sides. Well, that's the same thing you're going to do over here. And again, not treating the absolute or the inequality expression any different than you would the equation over here. So over here we've got 1/4 times the absolute value of x minus 3. The 2's cancel, and we have that being less than -1. 1 minus 2 is -1. Over here, the -2 and the +2 cancel, and we get 1/4 times x is equal to -1. Well, what would you do over here if it were an 1/4 x? Well, you might think, and you'd be right, to multiply both sides by 4, so the 4's would cancel, and we would get x is equal to -4 on the right-hand side. So we'd be done over there since we are just solving for x. Over here, we'd still multiply both sides by 4, and in multiplying both sides by 4, we get the absolute value of x minus 3 is less than -4. So just like the example that we did in class when we were solving absolute value equations, we've got to recognize here that when we have the absolute value of something being the distance from 0, the distance from 0 can never be, well, it can never be negative, and certainly then it can never be less than a negative number. So if the distance from 0 does not come up to be a positive number, we would say that this is an impossible situation. This is an impossible statement. So since this is impossible, we would say therefore no solutions. Because remember, we are always searching for solutions of trying to find real numbers that would make the statement true. Well, there are no real numbers that would make this true, because no matter what, this original expression here, that's always going to be a positive number. And that positive number multiplied by a 1/4 would be a positive number. And then when we add 2 to a positive number, we can't get something less than 1. So anyway, no solutions to that, and so you don't have to do any more work. You're all done.